All right, pre-algebra students, we are on to a new unit. This is our volume unit, and we are going to start by finding the volume of cylinders. So when you think cylinders, you're probably thinking like soup cans. It's probably the most familiar cylinder to us. A cylinder is a three-dimensional solid that has two identical circles for bases. So we are going to find the volume formula for a cylinder, and we're going to apply multiple uses of that formula. So let's start with a concept from 7th grade. You spent a lot of time finding the volumes of prisms. So in let's say a rectangular prism, it doesn't really matter. The volume of a prism is equal to the area of the base times the height. So again, the capital B here is the area of the base. So for example, here's a handy dandy rectangular prism, as well as I can draw it anyway. And so let's say it's got a length of 12 units, a width of 4 units, and a height of 5 units. So we're used to, in a rectangular prism, taking length times width times height. But we can also think of it as the area of the base times the height. The base of this prism is a rectangle, right here. And it has a length of 12 units and a width of 4 units. So it would be area of the base, which is 4 times 12, and multiplied by the height. And just for curiosity's sake, that would be 240 units cubed. So the volume of a cylinder, the formula that we take is not that different. The volume of a cylinder really is the area of its base times the height. So in a cylinder, let me draw one here. In a cylinder, the base is actually a circle. So here's your base. And you're seeing what is the height that you can fill that circle. So let's say my cylinder here has a radius of 15 units, and it's got a height of 12 units. Well, since the base of this cylinder is a circle, remember that the area of a circle is just pi times the radius squared. So this is the area of your base. So the volume is pi r squared times the height. That's all there is to the volume of a cylinder. The volume is equal to pi times the radius squared times the height. So let's apply that formula. So I'm given 2 cylinders here. Let's work with the one in orange. The cylinder in orange has a radius of 6 meters and a height of 15 meters. So let's see. So we're going to find out how many how many cubic meters fill up this cylinder. So volume is equal to pi, and I'm going to use 3.14 for pi, times the radius, which is 6, and we're going to square it, and we're going to multiply it by the height, which is 15 meters. Please recall that when we square a number, so 6 is being squared, we are going to multiply 6 by itself. So really, if you were to punch this into your calculator, it would be 3.14 times 6 times 6 times 15. And when you do that, your volume is going to be equal to 1,695 meters cubed. Not squared, not base 1, cubed. So let's try another one. In the green cylinder, it looks like we are given a height of 12 inches and a diameter of 10 inches. Remember, the diameter is the width of the circle, the total width, whereas the radius is the length from the center of the circle to the outer edge of the circle. We can't use diameter in our volume formula. So we know that the radius is equal to half of the diameter. So in this particular cylinder, the radius is going to be half of 10, which is 5 inches. So now we're free to use this formula. Volume is equal to pi times the radius squared times height. So pi times 5 squared times 12. And so the volume would be 942 inches cubed. And there you go. Let's try one without the visual, because there are going to be instances where you're given the dimensions of a solid figure and you're asked to find the volume or some other missing measurement. If it helps you to draw the figure, let's do it. I'm a pretty visual learner, and if you're not, that's okay. But I am going to encourage you to draw a cylinder if you need to. So I know that my height is 40 centimeters, and my radius is 4. Let's go here. So my radius is from the center to the outer edge of the circular base, and that's 4 centimeters. And the height is 40 centimeters. So from here I can apply my volume formula. Volume equals pi times the radius squared times the height. So pi times the radius squared times the height. So once you get the formula down and you know your dimensions, the rest is pretty easy. This is just a bunch of multiplication. So 3.14 times 4 times 4 times 40 is 2009.6 cubic centimeters. And I've got one other application for the volume of cylinders. Let's say we know the volume and another measurement, and we're asked to find a missing radius or height. So let's start with this one. Find the height of a cylinder with a volume of 30 cubic inches and a radius of 1 inch. So we're given the volume and we're given the radius, but we are missing the height. So in this type of problem, we are going to plug in the values that we know into the formula so that we can solve for the height. So volume is given, it is 30 inches cubed. And I'm just going to write out 3.14 for pi. I know my radius is 1 inch, so 1 squared. And then height is missing. I'm going to write that in a different color. So this is my volume formula, except instead of finding V, I am finding H. So let's go through and simplify what's given to us. So on the right side of the equation, we're going to simplify 3.14 times 1 squared. And 1 squared is just 1. So 3.14 times 1 is just 3.14. And we are multiplying that measurement by h, by the height. So now to solve for h, like in any other equation we've ever solved before, we are going to take 3.14 and do the inverse operation. Right now I see 3.14 times h. I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14. This cancels out. So h, and I'm going to have to estimate here. Let me approximate instead of equals. So h is approximately 9.6 inches. And since I had to estimate, if I were to go back and plug in 9.6 for h, the volume isn't going to work out to exactly 30 inches, but it's going to be pretty darn close. Let's try the other problem. In this problem, we need to find the radius of a cylinder with a volume of 686 millimeters cubed and a height of 14 millimeters. So again, I'm going to rewrite my volume formula and determine what's missing. So it says I am missing the radius. I'm missing r. So let's go through and plug in what we know. The volume V is 686. I'm going to write out 3.14 for pi again. And I am missing the radius, which means I'm actually missing r squared, because I can't square the other measurements in this formula, just the radius. And my height is 14. From here, I'm actually going to multiply 3.14 and 14 together. That's my next step. So 686 is equal to, and then 3.14 times 14 is 43.96 times r squared. Again, the goal is to get r by itself. Right now we are multiplying r squared by 43.96. Now we need to divide by 43.96 on both sides of the equal sign. So r squared is going to be equal to about 15.6. From here, and in previous lessons, we know that the inverse of squaring a number, so the inverse of squaring r, is taking the square root. So we're going to take the square root of both sides of the equal sign. When we take the square root of r squared, we're getting r by itself. Squaring and taking the square root are inverses. So now we need to find the square root of 15.6, and this is more of a calculator type of situation. So that's going to be approximately 3.9 millimeters. We are saying that 3.9 times 3.9 is approximately 15.6. So that would be the radius. And again, since we had to estimate a couple times, if we were to plug this back into our volume formula, the volume probably wouldn't be exactly 686 millimeters cubed, but it would be very close. Okay, and that was our lesson today. Just to review, the volume of a cylinder, you can either think of it as the area of the base times the height, or you can think of it as the volume equals pi times the radius squared times height. I hope you found this video helpful. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.